championship that would be compelling even if both sides were struggling. But today they come in ranked in the top 25. This is going to be fun. This is Austin, Texas, and Darrell Stadium, home of the Texas Longhorns. Capital One Orange Bowl, part, of course, of the college football playoff. Hi, folks, and welcome to this highly competitive matchup. We'll see a squad out of the Big 12, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, taking on the 12th-ranked team, the South Carolina Gamecocks. For EA Sports College Football, Chris Fowler, joined as always by Kirk Herbstreit. Kirk, let's get right to the action. Away to get us going. Bringing it out, it's Harbor. Makes it to the 16. That's good coverage there. The Gamecocks offense making their way on the field today. And Kirk, this offense is able to rely on an elite running back. And how priceless is it to have a guy like this?
You know, sometimes in college football we get so caught up in the quarterback and the receivers and just spreading it out. But the elite teams have a running back like this that can take your offense to another level.
Oh, he makes the catch. Tackle made after a solid game. They'll spot the ball for 31. Fresh set of downs for the offense. First down. Handoff from the shotgun. And the runner brought down right at the 38-yard line. Second down after that run on the previous play. To throw, it's Sellers. That's caught. It's Bennett. And he's tackled, but only after picking up a first down. The Gamecocks come to the line to set a fresh set of downs. Off the play fake, looking to throw on first down. Stays on his feet. And that's incomplete, even on a first down pass attempt. He felt heavy pressure. Incomplete, so it's second down and 10. Quarterback keeps the football. Picks up the first and is still going. They finally stop him, but not before he gets to the 16-yard line.
Boy, it's fun to watch this guy run the quarterback option. This time he keeps it, big positive yards, and a first down. The defense has got to figure out a way to slow this guy down.
The Gamecocks looking to take advantage of this red zone trip. Looking to throw it from the red zone. Caught over the middle. It's Brown. Brought down, but the completion moves the ball to the 6. Defense getting pushed back. The back's got it. Going absolutely nowhere. That would be a loss of the play. Offense facing a third down now. They can still get a first down without scoring. In the third and short, they'll try to throw for it. Running out of time in the pocket. He's running out of time here. He cannot escape. It's a sack.
This is exactly how you can slow down the momentum and a rhythm of an offense. You got to get some tackles for a loss and some sacks. This time, they come up with a sack by getting after that quarterback.
So on fourth down, they will settle for a field goal attempt. The kick is good. He knocked it right down the middle. So we have our first points on the board. That makes it 3-0.
Snap, the hold, the kick, everything there perfect to put 3 points up here for the offense.
So after the field goal, the kicker out there again to boot it away. He'll return it from inside the 5. Not much on the return. They'll stop him at the 24. Good coverage. The Red Raiders offense gets their first crack now. Kirk, let's check the impact players in this game. Guys who have been leaders, guys who are being counted on to deliver today.
Well, these are the guys that both these teams rely on, as you said, to be able to make the plays. And more importantly, when it gets into that point in the game where you need to be able to have some leadership, these are the men that are going to have to step up and be able to provide that for each team.
Second down after that run on the previous play. To throw, it's Morton. Catch made over the middle. Defense wraps him up after the catch, but he's just short of a first down. Offense breaks the huddle and gets set. It's third down. They've got him in the backfield. Nowhere to go. A 2-yard loss. The Red Raiders will line up to kick it away. That's just the first punt for this offense tonight. The fair catch made at the 25-yard line. And they'll set up at the 26 for the first play of this drive. On first down, it's play action. Quick throw over the middle. He makes the grab. Tackle made after a nice pickup on the play.
Great job by the quarterback with an accurate throw against man coverage for a first down. Overall, by the entire group, good execution by this offense.
One play, and they're already past the 40. First and 10. Play fake, looking to throw. It's reeled in. It's Smith.
This is why running the football is so important. You run the ball and you go play action. It affects the eyes of the safeties and the linebackers and frees up some space for the tight end to be able to pick up a nice gain.
The sure hands. It's Harper. Not much after the catch, but it is good enough for a first down. Here's the toss play. Runner heads outside. Finds room at the 30. All the way to the end zone. They couldn't catch him. Touchdown, South Carolina.
Well, this is what this running back brings to the table for this offense. He's always one touch away from a huge play, and here he gets the ball, gets some space, and from there, no one's going to catch him on his way to the end zone.
Now the all-important extra point. And the extra point gives them a double-digit lead. So after putting up the touchdown, the kickoff team is out there to boot it away. Fielded in the end zone. It's Tunson. Tackled at the 12. The coach wishes he left that one in the end zone. On the first play of the drive now, they're backed up at the 12-yard line. Fire to the right side, complete. Defense drops him for a loss. Tougher second down on the way. There's some pre-snap movement in the backfield. Looking to throw. It's Morton. That one falls incomplete. Looking for a flag. Doesn't get it. Brings up third down. They come to the line. A long way to go for the first down, but needing this crucial conversion right now. Looking to throw it on third and very long. That's reeled in. It's Douglas. Defense will wrap him up after an 8-yard gain. It'll bring up fourth down. The Red Raiders will have to kick it away. On he comes for his second punt of the game. See if he can make something happen with the return. He's brought down, but a good effort to make something of that return. Here comes the first play of this drive. They're set up at their own 48. It's a keeper. Runner finding some space there. That's a solid gain on the ground. Offense getting set up. Here's second down. Takes the handoff again. Defense makes the tackle with the clock running. That'll probably be the final play of this first quarter. And it's South Carolina in the lead here. They jumped out to an early lead in that opening period. Let's take a quick look at the stats so far. Crucial stage of the game as we begin the second quarter. Is this one going to get out of hand? We begin the quarter with a crucial play. Offense setting up for this third down. Looking to pick up the first down through the air. Grab down the middle. It's Harper. They make the stop at the 26, but it's a first down. This offense in good scoring position now. Off the play fake on first down. And he can't hold on right in his hands, and he dropped it. Important second down play coming up. Fakes the handoff, looking to throw. Catch made on the right side. That's a big gain. Tackle made quickly after the catch, but moves the ball to the 12, a red zone opportunity. They'll hand it off. They'll stop him behind the line for a loss of 1. Coming to the line on second down. This is important. They want to avoid a 3rd and long. Looking to pass. It's Sellers. Caught near the goal line. Brought down at the 2 after the catch. The offense close to punching it in. Try to muscle toward the end zone on the ground. Slams right into a wall. They've got him for a loss. Backed up to the 5-yard line now for 2nd and goal. Here's the handoff, testing the middle. Couldn't quite get there, but brought down at the 1-yard line. They get closer, but now they line up on 3rd and goal from the 1. And he's in. Touchdown, Gamecocks. Try the extra point. Extra point makes it a 17-point game. Got momentum after scoring that touchdown. Now the kickoff team out there to kick it away. And he takes this from inside the 5. And he stopped at the 20. Tried to make something happen, but that's good coverage there. Here's the first play of the drive now from that 20-yard line. Play action here on 1st down. Grab behind the line. It's Joyner. 0 running room. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage. The Red Raiders will hustle to the line to crank the tempo. And a short pitch and catch to the tight end. And he'll make his way out of bounds after gaining decent yardage. So a very makeable 3rd down for this offense from the 26-yard line. Caught over the middle. It's Miller. And the gain just good enough for a 1st down. Tackle made, but a strong arm throw by the senior quarterback.
Boy, this quarterback's doing a great job of just managing the game. Nice throw, good completion on 1st down, and he's already got a play call. He's ready to snap the ball again.
Looks to the left. Pass caught. Take it down, but not before he makes the 1st down. And the Red Raiders pick up enough yardage for a fresh set of downs. Keeping it on the ground here. He's found some room at the 45. They bring him down, but a big chunk of yardage on the play. They trust the left side of that offensive line and come up with a huge play on the ground.
Yeah, your favorite, Chris, there. The old pin and pull there to the left side. Great blocking on the left side, able to create a great push. Nice crease, and the back found that with the vision and picks up some big yards for that 1st down.
On 1st down, why not keep it on the ground? Great cut there. Good enough for 1st down yardage.
Boy, this defense seems to be confused. That's back-to-back big carries for 1st downs. They better get it together, or this could be an easy drive for this offense.
It's the 2-minute timeout. This offense running out of time to cut into this lead before the break. Motion by the back. Defense better adjust. Receiver looks it in. It's complete. They bring him down after a short gain there. Here comes a crucial 2nd down play. Every yard tough to find down here in the red zone. Fires it to the wideout. Pass ball is incomplete. There was a lot of contact. No penalty. Brings up 3rd down. Dropping back. It's Morton. It's a quick grab. And he's tackled just short of that 1st down marker. Good job by the defense. And now the defense will call a timeout here. There's something they didn't like about that look. And they'll make an adjustment before this important play. And it sails right through the middle of the uprights. A solid kick.
And that one, my gosh, I mean, it's almost too easy. Nice kick.
They come away with 3 points on the drive, and now the kickoff team will boot it away. And here's the return from inside the 5. And he stopped at the 19. Good job by the coverage team. So the first play of the drive here coming up. Less than 2 minutes left on the clock. On 1st and 10, look at the throw. He escapes the pocket. Brought down after picking up 5 yards. So 2nd and 5. And the quarterback drops back looking for an open man. Pulls it in. It's Bennett. Brought down at the 33. That's good enough to move the sticks.
Boy, we're just getting started here, and already you can feel a rhythm between a quarterback and a receiver. Nice job again getting back in the pocket, making a nice, accurate throw to one of his top targets.
1st and 10 now for the offense. Quarterback drops back from the shotgun. Grab down the middle. It's Smith. They bring him down, but that's a solid gain on the play. And the Gamecocks have 1st and 10 here. He's looking to throw. And it's caught. And the defense swarms. Not much of a gain on that completion. Short completion there. 2nd down coming up. Play action fake, looking to throw. Finds his man. It's Brown. They bring him down quickly. A short pitch and catch to get a little bit closer to the marker. An important 3rd down attempt for this offense. Caught over the middle. It's Bennett. Offense stops the clock with their 2nd timeout to talk strategy. Here's a 1st and 10 play. Off the play fake, looking to throw. Makes the grab. It's Jacobs. Tackle made at the 24-yard line. This offense really threatening now. Pass complete for a 1st down. The offense gets a fresh set of downs. Grab down the middle. It's Bennett. He's tackled, but down at the 9-yard line. Defense get pushed around.
Man, Chris, everything seems to be clicking for this offense. And if they can keep this up through all 4 quarters, it could get really ugly by the 4th.
Time running down, just 1 play left here in the half. So a timeout is called to talk strategy. Maybe time for 1 or 2 more plays before halftime. So on 1st down, the field goal unit will come out there trying to get 3 points before the half. And that one's straight down the middle. And they add to their lead.
Well, they almost put a touchdown on the board, but instead they come away with 3 points.
So here's the kickoff now. Offense settling for 3, tacking on a little bit of momentum before the halftime break. And he'll bring it out from inside the 10. They finally make the stop after a big play, but time runs out on the 1st half of play. And that will do it for the 1st half here. Kevin Connors now has our halftime update.
Fellas, by the looks of things, we've had one enjoyable 1st half in Springfield. And how can we begin our analysis of that 1st half without singing the praises of one of the elite backs in football? Racking up huge numbers on the ground, even throwing the occasional block. This kid is the total package. And if this defense doesn't adjust his strategy, he could be headed towards a career day.
The Gamecocks will kick it off and begin the 2nd half. Fields it just outside the goal line. And they've got the returner corralled. Here's the first play of the drive now, backed up into 15.
1st and 10.
Scanning the field, it's Morton. He lets it go on the move. Caught over the middle, it's Douglas. Tackle made on the play at the 29-yard line. The Red Raiders hustle to the line to run the hurry up.
There's no time to sit there and talk to each other as a defense. You give up a big gain for a 1st down, and already you got to get lined up because here comes the ball again.
Delivers from the pocket, complete over the middle. They stop the receiver, but that's a solid gain on that play. And the wideout goes in motion. Quarterback looking to throw it on 2nd down. On the run here. Lets it go. Wide open downfield. Play moves the ball to about the 45. That's good for a 1st down.
Well, we've seen them do this in the past. A good throw, get the 1st, and here comes the tempo.
They'll try the ground game here with the running back. And he goes nowhere. Stop pull behind the line of scrimmage. Didn't expect to lose 4 in the first down run. Set up now 2nd and 14. 2nd down, we're going to throw it. Looking for the wide out. Finds a man open on the right side downfield. That's a big gain before he goes out of bounds. It'll move the sticks more than enough for a first down.
You know, we talked this week with the offensive coordinator about what makes this receiver so special. He kept referring to his route running. Here's an example of that. Great route, enough separation to give the quarterback a nice lane to throw the football.
Hand off to the single back. And this one goes nowhere. Lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Offense operating at high tempo now. No huddle. And the motion by the back now forces the defense to adjust.
Well, they keep trying to run the football, and they keep getting dominated at the line of scrimmage. That has been a theme throughout this entire game. We've talked about it earlier in the game. It's not changing at all. They've become one-dimensional, and I think it's allowed this defense to really lock in on that quarterback.
Still searching for their first touchdown of the game, but on the move now. It's 1st and 10. The offense with some pre-snap eye candy. To the air, it's Morton. The pocket breaking down. Short pass finds the tight end. And they'll be smothered right at the line for no gain. 2nd down after that short completion.
A lot of times you see teams go up-tempo when they've got momentum that comes off to a big gain. These guys are struggling, and yet here they go, going back to old reliable, trying to get back to the line of scrimmage again.
They're going to throw for it on 3rd and short. He's got it right near the end zone. And he will score. Touchdown, Texas Tech. They were backed up to start the drive. It's some bold play calling, great execution, and they reach the end zone.
You know, it's easy to just kind of pull your horns in and get conservative when you're pushed way back close to your own goal line, but not this offense. They came out, showed the confidence that they have in their quarterback, and it paid off. Nice touchdown.
Now the important point after attempt. PHC is good. They still trail, though. Kickoff team out there. They are fired up after just scoring a touchdown. Bringing it out. It's Harbor. He's tackled at the 17, so it would have been better to leave it in the end zone for a touchback. And the first play of the drive now coming up from the 17-yard line. Off the play fake, looking to throw on 1st down. Oh, it's picked off. What a play.
Boy, this defense did exactly what they needed to do. Come up with a turnover here in the 2nd half to get themselves back in the game. They get the interception. Now, can their offense come up with a way to cut into this lead?
And the Texas Tech offense is back out on the field now. Remember, last time they scored a touchdown. Can they keep clicking here, or will the defense come up with a stop? Looking to pass. It's Morton. From the pocket, delivers over the middle. He moves the ball to the 7-yard line. Offense has a 1st and goal now. Quarterback looking to connect with the receiver here. Makes the catch. Can he get in? He makes it to the end zone. Touchdown, Red Raiders. We had a short field. The offense did exactly what they're supposed to do. That would have been a big ask for the defense there.
Absolutely. But when you're given that kind of field position, anything less than a touchdown would be a disappointment. They did exactly what they needed to do by capitalizing on that short field.
Now they line up to kick the extra point. PHC up and good. They get a little bit closer. So after putting up the touchdown, the kickoff team is out there to boot it away. Return starts from inside the 5. And he stopped at the 19. Good job by the coverage team. Here's the first play of the drive now. They begin at the 19. On first down, it's play action. Quick throw to the left side. What a catch! Heads out of bounds after a solid gain, more than enough to pick up a first down.
Always have to be careful on the sideline not to step out accidentally. The wide receiver does a good job here on the route to bring the ball in while on a tightrope.
It's a 1st and 10 play coming up for the offense. It's a bootleg looking to throw. Throw to the running back in the flat. Very tough second down coming up now. Back goes in motion now. Let's see how the defense adjusts. Pulls it in. It's Bennett. That was a nice juke, but not much room to run. He's brought down for a short gain. Offense looking to keep the drive alive. It's 3rd down. Taking a shot deep down the right side. And it's incomplete. They let it fly on 3rd down, but now it brings up 4th. And the Gamecocks will have to punt this one away. And that sets up a return. And the coverage team able to bring the returner to the ground. And the first play of the drive now from the 25. They start the drive with a quick throw to the left side. They bring him down, but that's a good play. Moves the ball to the 39. This line getting set up. It's a first down play. Off the play fake, looking to throw. He fires downfield. That is broken up and incomplete. Second down play coming up for this offense. Looking to throw. It's Morton. He is a load to bring down. Finally, a strong tackle by the cornerback gets him. Offense looking to keep the drive going here. 3rd and short now from the 44. Back in motion now. Quick throw to his receiver. Makes the catch downfield. They get the 3rd down conversion. First down now from the 37. Keep it on the ground. There's the handoff. He's past the marker and still going. Tackle after he makes the first down as the seconds tick away here in the 3rd quarter. And it's South Carolina in the lead here. We've reached the end of the 3rd. Time is running out to cut into this lead. Let's check out the game stats before we go on. We're set now for the 4th quarter. Who is going to make the crucial plays to take home this W? So here we go. First play of the quarter. The offense has a first down. He'll hand it off. The defense swarms him in the backfield. He had nowhere to run. Loses 2 yards. Coming to the line on second down. This is important. They want to avoid a 3rd and long. And here's the handoff. That's a nice wrap up there by the junior. 7th play of the drive coming up, but it is 3rd down and long. Some pre-snap movement, back in motion. Caught by the receiver. Touchdown, Texas Tech. They jump on top now here in the 4th.
Well, this is why they love this guy so much, is when it's crunch time, he makes plays like this. What I love is the quarterback knows all I got to do is get the ball in his hands, and he can do the rest of the work and get it all the way to the end zone. Great play.
So they'll try to add to the lead now with a PAT. PAT up and good. So the lead is 4 here in the final quarter. Got momentum after scoring that touchdown. Now the kickoff team out there to kick it away. Fields it inside the 5-yard line. And he's tackled at the 21. That's where the drive will start. Offense out there to start a new drive from the 21. They start the drive with a quick throw to the right side.
This is an example of a quarterback and his offense just taking what the defense gives you. Not a huge play, but positive yards. The defense wants to give that throw to you. You take it, get the ball to your receiver, stay ahead of the sticks.
First down and 10 now. Dropping back, it's Sellers. Grab down the middle, it's Jacobs. They bring down the receiver, but that's a nice gain on that play. Second down after that completion. Quick throw, that's an RPO caught on the left side. The Gamecocks pick up enough yardage for a first down. This is becoming a productive drive, a first down at the 47. And from the shotgun, an inside handoff.
It's a good, solid gain, 5 or 6 yards. Love to see that from the running game.
Again, makes it second and medium. Handoff to the left. Look out, room to run here. And the runner steps out of bounds, but does have enough yardage to pick up the first down. And the Gamecocks with 1st and 10 here. It's an option look. They've got him in the backfield. Nowhere to go, a 2-yard loss. Running play goes backwards. Now the offense is set up at 2nd and 13. They look to throw it here on 2nd down. That's caught. It's Brown. Tackled quickly after the catch. He'll be short of the marker. 3rd down play now, trying to keep this impressive drive going. Fakes the handoff here, looking to throw it. The pass is off target. He got hit as he threw as the 3rd down pressure worked. The Gamecocks will bring their punt team on the field now. Looking to kick it away for the 2nd time. That punt sails out of bounds. There'll be no return this time. So the drive gets underway, backed up at the 8-yard line. Grinding away on the ground. Going absolutely nowhere. That would be a loss of the play. Timeout called by the defense, their first of the half, as they try to make some adjustments here. Toss play, running right. Tough running to avoid a loss, and just barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. And now the defense will call a timeout here to make an adjustment on their side before this crucial play. Dropping back, it's Morton. That one is incomplete. The defender was right there, and it brings up 4th down now. And the Red Raiders will have to kick this away. He's on to boot it away now. So from his own end zone, he gets the kick away. He'll call for the fair catch here. And the South Carolina offense is back out on the field. So 1st and 10 here. Offense desperate to reach the end zone on this drive. Looks like he's going to run it. Making people miss. Tough to show, but a sophomore quarterback to pick up the first down himself.
How many times have we seen this late in the 4th quarter? Because you know the pass rush is going to get after him. They get upfield. They have a great pass rush. What do they create? Space and running lanes. And he takes off and picks up some nice yards.
First down, we're going to throw the ball. And it's complete with a shuttle pass. He's going to lose yardage there. The defense closed in and forces him out of bounds. Here we go, trailing late in the game here. Serious urgency for this offense right now. Oh, it's incomplete. That's a good job of the defender to break that up. Tight game, final 2 minutes. Can the offense make a play here? And they desperately need it. On 3rd down, he drops to throw. The sure hands, it's Jacobs. Completion, that's about 9 yards. Not enough for the first, and it's 4th down. Throwing off play action. Looking to scramble. He'll be brought down on 4th down, and the drive ends with a sack.
Now the quarterback's got to get the ball out of his hands. He had a lot of time back there in the pocket, looking over the field, desperately trying to find an open receiver. Nobody's open, but he still has got to take off or try to make a play. Instead, he's sacked, and it's a turnover on downs.
Here's the first play of the drive. They start at the 28. Quarterback pulls the ball. It's a keeper. Ball scooped up in the defense. Touchdown, South Carolina. A huge defensive score. Look at that, a defensive touchdown, and suddenly they've taken the lead here in the 4th quarter.
But the defense said to heck with it. We're going to take matters into our own hands with this late touchdown. And now the dynamic of this game is completely shifted.
Now the partial PAT to stretch the lead to a field goal. And the kick is good. A 3-point game now in the fourth quarter. It's all up to the defense. Kickoff team out there, they are fired up after just scoring a touchdown. He's going to return it from near the goal line. And the coverage team brings him down at the 26. And they'll set up at the 26 for the first play of this drive. To the air, it's Morton. Slides with the throw. Heads out of bounds after a solid gain. So one play moves the ball to the 42-yard line. It'll be first down. From the shotgun, drops back looking for an open man. Cannot get the throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this stage of the game. The offense will wisely spend a timeout after the play. Clock management's going to be very important here in the final minutes. The defense all over it. They stop him right at the line. They'll hurry to the line here with the clock running. Now in third and very long, looking to throw. Looking deep for late-game heroics. The pass is dropped incomplete. Would have had a huge gain. Took his eye off the ball. Here we are late in a one-score game, and they're going to go for it on fourth down. Complete with the running back, but can he get there? Oh, he did not make it. A big fourth down stop, a chance to claim the lead here, but it's a turnover on downs. Caught behind the line. It's Bennett. And now it's the defense that calls timeout here, trying to get organized and preserve as much clock as possible. They'll run it from the gun. The junior able to bring him down quickly. Now a timeout taken by the defense, trying to preserve as much clock as possible for their offense. Ball is snapped, and the quarterback will just take a knee. And the majestic Rose Bowl, one of the unique settings in all of sport. This year's Rose Bowl, presented by Prudential, is a crucial part of the college football playoff. Hi, folks, and welcome to this highly competitive matchup, as we'll see a team from the Big Ten, the USC Trojans, taking on a team from the Big 12, the Baylor Bears. 3A Sports, I'm Chris Fowler, joined in the booth by Kirk Herbstreit. Kirk, let's get this thing going. Trojans will kick this away to start us off. They'll return it from inside the 5. Coverage team flying down there. Good job. They limit the return. Not much there. So Baylor's offense making their way on the field to open this game. Let's check out the impact players in this game, Kirk. Guys that are going to have to step up and deliver. The teammates look to them. Coaches are counting on them today.
Chris, I think these are the guys that show the most consistency, and I think that's why we're showcasing them. And they're going to have to be able to step up and not only make plays, I think provide the leadership. Coaches told us all week that these are the guys that really are unique within this program, and hopefully they play well today.
And they'll run it out of the shotgun. He moves the ball across the 20 to the 22. Sets up as a 3rd and 3 here on this opening possession. And the quarterback keeps it here. Quarterback gets down to avoid the tackle. The Bears will have 1st and 10 here. Looking downfield, it's Robertson. The receiver makes the grab.
How about the arm strength from this quarterback? He really didn't have any other option than to put it right in there and give it everything that he had. Great timing and a good job of squeezing that in between the defenders.
That's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact. No flag. Brings up 3rd down. Movement here from the tight end. On 3rd and short, they'll try to throw for it here. Oh, the pass rush gets home.
It just looked like the quarterback was holding on to the ball a bit too long that time, allowed the defense to be able to get the pressure, and they come up with a 1st sack of the game.
Will line up to punt it away. We'll see what he can do with the return. And the returner is tackled by this punt coverage team. The Trojans offense comes out for their 1st possession today. Quick throw to the left. It's a 2-yard gain. 2nd and 8. Empty set now. 5 wide. Looking to pass here on 2nd down. It's a short completion to the big tight end. He's brought down quickly as short gain gets them a few yards closer to the marker. Going to pick up the 3rd and short through the air. Caught quickly. Brought down, but it's past the line to gain. 1st down here for this offense. Back to throw. It's Maiava. Quarterback hits to his right and finds his man. And that play moves the ball across midfield. 1st down now from the 42. The Trojans are going to keep this drive rolling. On 1st and 10 here, looking to throw the ball. Looking for his big tight end. Oh, what a grab! They get him to the ground, and it's 1st down now at the 28. New set it down to the offense, 1st and 10. And they'll keep it on the ground. Running back has the handle. Breaks a tackle on the play and makes a decent gain. And the Trojans are in the red zone. Quarterback wants to throw it on 2nd down. Here's a screen pass to the running back. Brought down, but the completion moves the ball down to the 4. The Trojans looking to cap the drive here. It's first and goal. First and goal, they'll try to run it in. Couldn't quite get there. Brought down at the 2. Second down and goal. Quarterback drops back from the shotgun, looking for a receiver. Touchdown, Southern Cal. Adds 6 more points to the total. Well, the call was sort of predictable, Kirk, but that tight end is just so tough to stop down here in the red zone.
Listen, speaking on behalf of all quarterbacks, you get down in the red zone, you're looking for that big target that you can trust. He's going to run a good route, and he's got a big wingspan to allow you to make a throw up into the air. He can go up and make a catch over most defenders. Really good execution. They come up with 6.
So they'll try to add to the lead now with the PAT. And the PAT makes it 7-0 to open scoring. So after putting up the touchdown, the kickoff team is out there to boot it away. And he takes this from inside the 5. Coverage team flying downfield. Not much gained on that return. Here's the first play of the drive now, backed up at the 15. Motion by the back will make the defense adjust. Nice grab. It's Brown. They make the tackle, but that pass creates a solid gain.
Well, this wide receiver has it all. You know about his leaping ability and his speed. But what I've seen today is the precise route running. Another example of it there, and the timing with this quarterback and this receiver is just a thing of beauty.
That completion makes it second and short. Back to pass. It's Robertson. Lets it fly to the wideout. The ball is picked off. That's a short return, but the pick wipes out a scoring threat and sets up the offense at the 33.
Well, they're rewarded for going to this nickel package, getting more awareness on the field with that 5th defensive back, and a nice job of coming up with this interception.
And the Trojans' offense is back out on the field. They punched it in the last possession. Can they do it again, or will this defense make some adjustments to get a stop? Big pass. Here comes a jet sweep. And that run produces a decent gain. Offense getting set. Second down play here. Receiver in motion now. They flip it to him on the jet sweep. A change of direction. He picks up the first down before they get him to the ground. A running play gives the offense a fresh set of downs. Off the play fake on first down. Throws to the tight end. He's got it near the end zone. And he scores! Touchdown, USC!
This guy has a knack for the end zone, doesn't he? That's 2 touchdowns for this guy today, and I don't know if he's done yet.
Try to add to the lead now with the PAT. With the extra point, the lead is 14. Got momentum after scoring that touchdown. Now the kickoff team out there to kick it away. And here's the return from inside the 5. And they stop him at the 23. That's solid coverage. And they'll start the drive here from the 23-yard line. Quick throw to the right. It's caught. Defense reacts quickly. A very short gain on the play. Second down after that previous play. Dropping back. It's Robertson. Misses the receiver. Incomplete. The offense now facing a 3rd and long from the 26. Got to avoid a mistake here. Dropping back. Looking to throw for the first down. Caught near the sticks. It's Wilson. And it's good for a first down to the 36. They'll try the right here. And stop right there at the line of scrimmage, and that'll end the first quarter. And it's USC in front, Kirk, as we break for the quarter. Solid performance so far, creating some separation. Here's the first quarter stats. And as we flip the field and begin quarter number 2, we'll see if they can continue to build this lead. Offense getting set for a second down here to begin the quarter. From the gun, he looks for an open man. Pump over the middle. It's Wilson. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. Quarterback sets up, looking for an open man. Makes the grab with plenty of room to run. He make the tackle, but not before he gets all the way to the
30. Okay, here they go. Big first down, good pickup, and they are off and running.
First down, looking to throw the football. Fires it to the wideout. Not able to hook up there, incomplete. So 2nd and 10 after the previous play. Looking to throw yet again. It's an out route, the catch made. And he's run out after a big gain. The offense will be set up with a first down and goal.
I love how this quarterback is finding this slot receiver. Not only is he tough to handle, but it's what he's doing after the catch. He has such wiggle and quickness. He's tough to bring down, and you see more positive yards after the catch here.
Here we go, 1st and goal. A touchdown here gets him right back into this game. And he keeps it. Couldn't quite get in, but they're knocking on the door at the 1.
You know, where the real estate gets tight inside the 10-yard line, you love a play caller who has the ability to either run it or throw it. Because that puts so much pressure on that defensive coordinator to know how to line up. It's not just a one-dimensional attack he's dealing with.
Coming up, 2nd down and goal. On the ground, trying to power toward the goal line. And he will be stuffed for no gain. Let's see what they can do here. 3rd down and goal from the 1. Trying to convert with a sneak. No stopping him on that run. Touchdown, Bears.
Chris, that's what I love about this quarterback. It's a great touchdown, but he shows you his versatility. We know he can throw it, but here he shows you his speed and how he can make the defense pay for that as well.
Kicking team out for the PAT try. With the extra point, they're down 14-7 now. Kickoff team out there, they are fired up after just scoring a touchdown. Looks like he'll try to make a play with the return. And he stopped at the 19. Good job by the coverage team. Here's the first play of the drive now. They begin at the 19. Back to pass. It's Mayava looking for his big tight end. Oh, he makes the catch. They bring him down, but the drive has now reached the 35. Gain moves it to the 35. First down again. Quarterback drops back. We're going to test the secondary. Heavy pressure. He lets it go. What's the play call here on 2nd down for this offense?
When I talk to defensive coordinators all over the country, and they're quick to point out the term affecting the quarterback. They kind of almost get offended when you want to talk to them about sacks. Sometimes it's just about getting into his face, affecting his vision. It's exactly what they did right here.
Looking deep down the left side. The catch is made inside the 10. The stop made at the 5. The offense will have 1st and goal now.
Man, you just continue to see the chemistry between these two. And they told us yesterday in our production meeting, they spent hours and hours of working and developing that chemistry and that rhythm by throwing together throughout those summer months. And man, it's starting to really pay off. He's become his security blanket for the quarterback, and especially on 3rd down, get him the ball.
They snap it. Quarterback looking to throw the ball. Running back has it on the screen now. fights into the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans. So the offense clicking now, Kirk, building the lead, and this one could get out of hand.
Well, it's just complete domination. The offense is executing and doing their job, putting points on the board. The defense is shown up, prepared, ready to play. It just feels like this game's getting sideways in a hurry.
Kicking team on now for the extra point. With the extra point, the lead is 14. So after putting up the touchdown, the kickoff team is out there to boot it away. Fields it just outside the goal line. Solid job by the coverage team. They bring him down at the 16. So they begin the drive here in the final 3 minutes of the half. Grab down the middle. It's Prentice. They've got him, but he picks up 8 yards. Sets up a nice 2nd and 2. The Bears come to the line in the hurry-up. Scanning the field, it's Robertson. Caught in the backfield, it's Brown. That's a nice tackle there by the senior. So the offense faces a 3rd and manageable here from the 25-yard line. Okay, we reached the 2-minute timeout. The offense some work to do here, trying to cut into this lead before halftime. So the offense faces a 3rd and manageable here from the 25-yard line. Looking to pick up the first down through the air. Grab near the sticks. It's Wilson. They get him down, but the gain moves the ball up to the 36. So it's a first down here. The clock is stopped temporarily, but they'll get to the line quickly. There's the snap. Looking to throw the ball. Makes the grab. It's Wilson. They get him down quickly. Not much of a gain on that completion. They'll crank up the tempo here with the clock ticking down. 2nd down. Looking to throw it again. Catch made on the right side. They tackle him. Looks like it's going to be just short of the marker. Inches away. Timeout is called to talk strategy late in this close game with halftime approaching. In the 3rd and short, they'll try to throw for it. Caught over the middle. It's Prentice. They make the stop at the 47. That's enough for a first down. And the Bears line up on 1st and 10 now. Quarterback drops back, probing the secondary. And it's caught on the crossing pattern. They bring him down, but not before he gets inside the 30-yard line. Looking to throw it on first down. With the catch, it's Prentice. They make the tackle, but not before a solid gain on that pass.
Just a good job here by the quarterback. Got the ball out to his receiver. His guy eats up some yards. They stay ahead of the sticks.
The Bears looking to take advantage of this red zone trip. To throw, it's Robertson. Bringing pressure. He'll avoid the big hit with the slide. And a quick timeout call by the offense after the play. Now a chance to cut into this lead before halftime. It's 1st and goal. Looking to throw here. Launching one to the end zone. Oh, incomplete. He nearly threw a pick in the end zone. 2nd down coming up. Nothing on first down, so now it's 2nd and goal from the 6. Quarterback looking to pass here on 2nd down. Grab behind the line. It's Washington. He's going to lose yardage here. The defense pursues and forces him out of bounds.
Offside, defense.
What I always love to see on these offsides call is when they're always pointing at each other. You know, he did it. I didn't do it. Put it on him. Well, we know this time it's on the defense. They're going to make the right call.
And they will score. Touchdown, Baylor. No surprise there, Kirk. It's a red zone touchdown to the big tight end.
Well, the tight ends are usually much more involved down in the red zone because of their size and their skill set allows them to be more effective down in this area. Yeah, they may not hurt you on the big, long throw, but they can use their bodies to provide the quarterback a nice target when the defense is so condensed.
He PAT is good. They still trail, though. So the offense getting some momentum before halftime with a touchdown. Now they kick off in hopes the defense can get a quick stop. Turner trying to create good field position. The coverage team able to bring him down. Here comes the first play of the drive. Can they do something in the final 30 seconds of the half? And the running back takes the handoff. Tackled behind the line. It's a loss of 2. And that is going to wrap up the first half here. Let's kick it now to Kevin Connors with our halftime update.
Thanks, fellas. Perfect chance for us to put the first 2 quarters under the microscope. And this has just been a passing clinic, really, by both offenses. They've effectively stretched these defenses, forcing the secondaries to cover every blade of grass, and they've still racked up big plays. Man or zone, pick your poison, or lay some blame at the feet of those pass rushers who can't do anything against the maulers on that offensive line. Either way, it's time to find out. Back to the best in the biz for the start of this third quarter.
Returner choosing to field this one. Makes it to the 16. That's good coverage there. For the first play of the drive, they'll set up at the 16. Back to throw. It's Maiava. Makes a quick grab. He brings him down, but he reaches the 30-yard line. Offense keeps moving. It's a completion for a first down. Off the play fake, looking to throw. He lets it rip. He's got it with room to run. And they'll bring him down, but this offense creates a huge chunk play.
Chris, that's just perfect execution here by the offense. Quarterback does a nice job getting back, putting the ball out where the receiver can make a play on it. Nothing you can do as a defender.
So quickly, one explosive play, this offense has moved inside the opponent's 40. A play action, looking to throw. Makes the catch. It's Sanders. The defense scoops it up. Football comes out. And he breaks clear down the right side. It's a foot race. Touchdown, Bears. A scoop and score. And this place is going crazy.
Not only are they able to come up with some points of their own, now the defense on the other side comes up with a turnover and a touchdown to tie the game, and they're an extra point away from taking the lead.
And now they'll set up for the point after. The PAT is up and good, so we're tied up here in the third quarter. We got momentum after scoring that touchdown. Now the kickoff team out there to kick it away. Return starts from inside the 5. Returner tackled right there. That's where they'll start the drive. Here's the first play of the drive now. They're backed up at their own 14. Offense will keep it on the ground here. The gain is 5, so it's 2nd and 5 now. Off play action. He's looking to throw. Grab down the middle. It's Sanders. Brought down at the 28, and it's good enough for a first down. A new set of downs after that completion. Play action here on first down. Pass complete on the crosser. They stop out at the 42. That's a solid gain, getting closer to midfield. And the Trojans starting a new series here on 1st and 10. They'll run it here. They'll stop him behind the line for a loss of 1. Offense behind the 6 now on 2nd and 11 after the 1-yard loss. Looking downfield, it's Maiava. Tries to avoid the rush and just gets rid of it.
We finally see a change-up from this defense. It has been a long game for this defensive coordinator. A lot of touchdown passes. They finally find a way to affect the timing between the quarterback and his receivers by getting pressure.
And they get the conversion there. First down now from the 33.
If I'm this defense, you get these guys to third down, you better bracket or double team some kind of coverage roll to this receiver to take him away. This guy makes another big play.
And now the handoff. Gets the first and still running. He stopped and gets a first down. And the Trojans are in the red zone now. A pop pass on the jet sweep. And the defense smothers him for no gain. Coming to the line on second down. This is important. They want to avoid a third and long. Moving the receiver around pre-snap. From the shotgun now. Here's an inside give. They try the middle, but gain nothing on that play. Well within field goal range now, but they're hoping for more as they line up here on third down. Caught over the middle. It's Jordan. The defense stops him short of the marker, so it's fourth down coming up. So now on comes the field goal unit. The field goal is good.
I was watching this guy in pregame. He's got a strong leg. I'm surprised here he's able to put 3 points up here for the offense.
So after coming away with 3 in that drive, the kickoff team is out. Fields it inside the 5-yard line. He'll be tackled at the 18. That's good coverage there. Offense out there for the first play of this drive from the 18. They go with the ground game here. Running back takes the handoff. That's a nice wrap up there by the junior. Second down after that run on the previous play. A quick throw out left, complete. Then he'll run out of bounds, picking up a few yards on the play. Offense looking to convert on third and short in the 27. Big guys up front, lined up. It's first down. Out of the shotgun, he'll hand it off. Stopped right there at the line, no gain. Now it's second down here. To throw, it's Robertson. Looking to set up a screen pass here. They stopped the receiver, but that's a solid gain on that play. Third down upcoming after that completion. Off the play fake, he'll look to throw it. Oh, they trapped him for a sack.
The defender did not bite on the fake at all. They were in pass rush mode the entire time.
The Bears will line up to move it away. And he'll kick it away now for the second time. Trying to return the punt for some extra yardage. And the returner brought down by the coverage team. Here's the first play of the drive. He started at 28. On the run, it's Jordan. Well, they test the middle there, but get nothing. Offense comes up to the line. They might have a chance for a couple more plays before the quarter expires. He's going to hand this off. Tackled behind the line. It's a loss of 2. And it's USC in front, Kirk, as we break for the quarter. Sitting in pretty good position as we wrap up the third quarter. Let's check out the game stats so far. One quarter to go. Let's see if this sets up as a classic finish. First play of the quarter is a crucial one. Offense trying to convert this third down. Off of RPO, the quarterback looks to his right. He brings it down, but he makes the 3-yard line. That's a solid gain. And the Trojans lining up here on 1st and 10. And the jet sweep. A quick juke. He's brought down out at the 46. Getting set. Here's second down. They'll run it here. Running back has the ball. He stopped just short of that first down marker, inches away from it. Offense trying to move into scoring position if they can convert 3rd and short here from the 50.
Good call here by the offensive coordinator to go with quarterback sneak here on 3rd and inches, and he's going to get the first down. It's a great time to catch the defense off guard. Get up to the line of scrimmage quickly, get the lineman down, quarterback under the center, quick snap, and get the yardage you need for the first down.
Catch made in space. Look out. They bring him down at the 7. The offense set up now with a 1st and goal.
What a gain here. Big play for this offense. The quarterback and receiver just seem to be in sync. Tough on that corner to try to make a play on that ball.
That huge play sets up a great opportunity. 1st and goal just outside the 5. Working clock with the ground game. Couldn't quite get there. Brought down at the 2. 2nd down and goal upcoming. On the ground, trying to muscle it across the line. Nowhere to run. Up to Rowland for no gain. Getting closer, but now 3rd down. Can they punch it in from the 2? On the ground, trying to punch it in for the score. Goes backwards, losing 3 yards there. So on 4th down, it's an all-important field goal attempt. Hold your breath here. Knocks that one right down the middle.
Oh, Chris, it's a nice kick here to polish off that drive with at least 3 points up on the board.
Following the field goal, the kickoff team is out there now. And is fielded. Returner trying to create a big play here. Return man forced out at the 12. Not a good return and not good field position. And the first play of the drive now, they're backed up at the 12-yard line. First play of the drive, they look to the right.
Well, anytime an offensive coordinator calls a wide receiver screen, he's trying to get offensive linemen out in front of the receiver to create a wall so that receiver can pick a lane to run through. How about the defense here, though? That's called team.
Who's in the clear? Tackled at the 44, but good enough for a first down.
What a pitch and catch by the quarterback and receiver for a big gain for this offense.
The offense really clicking against this embattled defense. To throw, it's Robertson. And it's incomplete. The defender arrived the same time as the football. And now it's 2nd down. Here comes 2nd and 10 from the 44 after that incompletion. Off the play fake, looking to throw the football. Blitz and a quick sack.
Well, you got to do a better job with your fake as the quarterback. The defense did not bite at all on the play action, allowing them to continue to come after the quarterback and come up with that sack.
Here they come on 3rd and long, trying to overcome that sack they gave up earlier. Looking to throw it on 3rd and very long. Lets it go quickly. Tight coverage, deflected and incomplete. Brings up 4th down. The Bears look to convert here on 4th down. 4th down, he's throwing for it. Looking for a late, deep throw. And the pass is incomplete. A crucial misfire here late in the game, and the ball will turn over on downs. Good pass. Here comes a jet sweep. Breaks into the clear. All the way to the end zone. What a run. Touchdown, Southern Cal.
Well, that's why you practice right there, Chris. This offense had the pressure, the game on their back. They deliver, they get a touchdown, and now make this a 2-possession game with under 2 to go. Like their odds of closing this game out.
He knocked through the PAT. It's now a 13-point lead here in the final quarter. Kickoff team out there. They are fired up after just scoring a touchdown. He's going to return it from near the goal line. Return is brought down. Sets up the next drive. And the first play of the drive now. They're backed up at the 12-yard line. Looking to throw. It's Robertson. Quick throw. Catch made on the out route. So the offense calls a timeout here. That's their first of the half. Drive stays alive with that completion for a first down. From the shotgun, he's probing the secondary. With the catch, it's Brown.
You know, it's a nice completion, but it's kind of another short gain. The defense is keeping everything in front. I think the offensive coordinator's got to find a way to take some vertical shots to get some chunk plays.
Grab down the middle. It's Wilson. And he's brought down, but not before he gets first down yardage. Now they've got to hustle to the line and get set. Looking to throw again. That's caught. It's Prentice. And a nice first down gain there. They get him down, but very close to the first down marker. The offense will spend a timeout to get on the same page. Quarterback looking to throw it on second down. Caught over the middle. It's Prentice. They make the tackle, but that's an excellent gain. Moves the ball to the 33. They move the 6, but hurry to the line here on first down now. Here's the snap, and he's looking to throw. Turns it loose downfield. That one falls incomplete. Good defensive play. Brings up second down. The misfire on first down makes it 2nd and 10 from the 33. Second down, we're going to throw it. Finds that big tight end for a short pass. Big man finally brought down by the cornerback. That was a tough assignment. Out of the gun now on third down. Can't hold on. Good defensive play. Brings up a fourth down. The offense stays on the field down multiple possessions. Easy choice. And he's throwing for it on fourth down. It's complete. That's enough for a first down. They've got him, but they convert on fourth down, and the drive keeps going. And the coach quickly calls timeout after the play, trying to hold on to as much time as possible. The receiver makes the catch. Tackled at the 8 after the completion. They'll have to hurry now. Second down with the clock ticking. Quarterback spikes the ball to stop the clock. Here we go. Third down, close to the goal line. They can still get a first down without scoring. Looking to pass. It's Robertson. Pass rush closing in. They pressure him and sack him to be tackled inside the 10.
And just like that, you squeeze the life out of this offense. That's another sack by this defense. They have been in that backfield the entire game, and a big reason why these guys are enjoying a lead.